Okay guys, so we are in the Cour Carrée of the Louvre. This is quite possibly my favorite place in the whole city. The Louvre, as you can see, is breathtaking. It's awe-inspiring. It really lives up to its reputation and actually fulfills your expectations. Just being outside, you can see it is ornate. It is beautiful. Um, it is the largest museum in the world that is dedicated to art. There are 35,000 artworks on display, but there are 360,000 that are actually in storage. They don't display them all at the same time, obviously, because they have to keep them in good condition. They have to restore them, they have to keep them out of the light, they have to make sure that they stay nice so that they can rotate them in and out. So it's a huge space. It's 650,000 meters squared. It's 14 kilometers of walking space. They say it would take you 3 months to see every piece of art inside the museum. Do not try to do this. I don't think you can sleep in there, so or you'd have to move to France and live in Paris to see it in 3 months. If you're gonna go inside, if you haven't already, don't have big expectations about seeing everything. What I like to do when I go in there is I like to get lost. I like to just go inside because, as you can see, the outside is breathtaking, but the inside is even more breathtaking. Just the building itself is a piece of art. And if you guys are big fans of painters, don't just go see the Renaissance paintings. Go and see all the French Romantic and Neoclassicist paintings. They are, to me, probably one of the most spectacular parts. They're these big, giant paintings on the wall, depicting usually something very French, something very national, something very 19th century, something very romantic. I mean, Liberty Leading the People by Delacroix is one of my favorites. The Raft of the Medusa by Jericho, where people are literally dying and being cannibals, and you just feel this, you feel something big. Anyway, definitely go check that out, and don't forget to see the David paintings, the ones of Napoleon crowning the Empress Josephine in Notre Dame Cathedral. All of them are spectacular. But don't just check out the art. If you are a big history buff, it's a great place. You can go and see all the Assyrian stuff. You can see all the Egyptian stuff. You can see all the Middle Eastern stuff. You can even see Hammurabi's code. It's super cool too. What are the things I think? Oh, my two favorite places to see in the museum is actually to go into the basement and see the foundations of the original fortress. It's cool. It's very cool down there. They've dug it all out. You can walk around it. They got a boardwalk down there. Another really cool spot is Napoleon III's apartments. It's still in the same way that he would have lived. Very ornate, gold. You can see his bed. You can see his throne. If you guys don't get a chance to go out to Versailles, this is maybe a little bit a step in the right direction. Or if you want to get the envie to go see Versailles, go check out Napoleon III's apartments. It'll get you in the right mood. So the Louvre is huge. Don't try to see it all. Also, my suggestion is don't waste a lot of time in line. If you guys get up really early in the morning, and you're still probably gonna have to wait even if you get up because there's people waiting as well, but it's probably best to go in the morning when there's not a line, or come later at night. It is open on Wednesdays till 10 o'clock at night, so it's a good time to go. Also, you can buy skip the line passes. I definitely don't suggest going without skip the line passes in the middle of the day. You're gonna wait in line too long, and that's to go through security. If you do buy the skip the line passes, you can actually bypass security and go through another entrance, the Richelieu entrance just on this side. So that's some little tips for you guys. But to give you an idea of the history of the building, we have to go back to about 11th, 12th century. If you were to stand on Montmartre and look down at the city, you would see something very different than what you see today. You would see an island with walls around it, stone walls, and then that's all going to be taken down, and they're going to make the walls way bigger, making the city much larger, but they're going to put a little fortress on the outside of this wall, and inside this fortress you're going to have a big tower, and that tower is going to be called the Louvre. So basically it starts as just a tower in a fortress. In the middle of the 14th century, 1348, sometime around then, the royal family is actually going to move from the Ile de la Cité to this fortress. They're going to smash it down and make it into something befitting royalty. They're going to make it much more like a fairy tale type of thing. Like, think more Cinderella's castle than what you see right now. Yeah, it would have been more like towers, conical roofs, lacy kinds of decorations, windows, but slit windows. Yeah, definitely imagine Cinderella's castle. But that's going to change when Francois I comes to the table. Francois I is one of France's most important kings, and one way we can see that is by how many nicknames he has. He has 5 nicknames. Yes, I said 5 nicknames. The Renaissance King, the Builder King, the Hunter King, the Chevalier King or the Knight King, and the last one, Le Nez, the nose. He was a big man with a big nose. You can actually see a portrait of him. It's near the Mona Lisa inside the Louvre. Yes, huge nose, huge hands, huge personality, a real patron of the arts, a patron of learning too. He was known to study a lot of languages, and when he was studying, he was out hunting. He loved to hunt. The nobility, actually I think the nobility still does love to hunt. And he built a giant chateau called Chateau Chabot in the Loire Valley, but he built tons of other chateaus all across France, and that gives him his other nickname, the Builder King. He loves building, and he definitely starts building something here. And as you can see, he built this, and it's very Renaissance. He's also the Renaissance King. And he comes to power in 1515. 1516, he fights the Battle of Marignano. It will be the only battle he actually wins during his life, because he is Night King, but he's actually a very bad knight. Actually, the Battle of Marignano is going to change him. It's going to change French history. It's going to change French art, because what he does in this battle is he actually obtains Milan, and in Milan you have the stuff of the Renaissance. You have the buildings, the artwork. He's really going to inspire him, and he's going to bring it back to France, because he's obsessed with the glory of the art, the glory of his kingdom, the glory of himself. So Francois comes here. He wants to start building this building, the Louvre, but he also brings back from Italy something else, something a bit more valuable. That is Leonardo da Vinci. Yes, Francois I loved Leonardo da Vinci, and he wanted him to come here to bring a little bit of the Renaissance here. In fact, he wanted Leonardo da Vinci to build him machines. A good example of one of these machines he wanted Leonardo da Vinci to build is he wanted to build a golden mechanical lion, and this lion would be wound up, and at a party, let's say, the lion would be wound up, he would walk across the room, he would greet the guest by turning his head, and then a trapdoor on his chest would pop out, and a little hand holding a bouquet of lilies would be given to the guest. So, yes, that is a machine. And actually, I went online and they actually rebuilt the machine. It does exist. You can actually see it online. But he did, among other things, he helped do some designs for Francois I, but he also brings something very valuable with him. Maybe not so valuable at the time, but he brings the Mona Lisa with him. And that is one of the reasons the Mona Lisa is in the Louvre today, because after Leonardo da Vinci dies, he leaves it to a relative. Francois I buys the Mona Lisa off of him, and he actually hangs it in his bathroom, because he loves painting, and he likes to look at it when he goes to the bathroom. So, Francois I gets the Mona Lisa, and now he has to build something even grander. He decides he's going to build the Louvre. Where we are right now is the Cour Carrée. This is the original part of the chateau, and it is actually his design, or not. He didn't design it, but he approved it, or he wanted something like this, and it will be his architects that laid the foundations of the style you see right here. So the Louvre isn't even going to ever really. It's not even truly finished now. I mean, they just added the pyramid. They're always redoing stuff, but he will lay down the initial design. So Francois I, he actually dies in 1547. Funny story how he died, actually. He had a lot of mistresses. He was a king, after all, and a hunter, and a builder, and a knight. Well, he had this one mistress, and her husband didn't like Francois I very much. So her husband went out to all the brothels and all the prostitute dens across the city, and he went and he contracted contracted syphilis. He went back, had sex with his wife, gave her syphilis, and then the wife gave Francois I syphilis. So he dies in 1547 of syphilis. His son, Henry II, and then Henry II's sons will actually continue a lot of the work. And then when Henry IV, remember the guy, the statue guy over there? When Henry IV comes into Paris, he's going to want to do some really big things, and he's going to lay down the plan for the future, and that is to extend the chateau all the way down to the Tuileries Palace, which isn't in there anymore, but I'll tell you about that later. But yes, make it a very, very, very big palace. Henry IV, of course, won't achieve that. That won't even be achieved until 1870. So let's go get a good view of the pyramid, and I'll tell you about some more things.